All right, so long division with polynomials works very similar to the way it did when you learned long division long time ago back in elementary school. And so I'm going to go through the steps here, and you'll see how similar it is to what you have done before. The first thing that you want to do with your division is we need to figure out what numbers are going to go up here. And how you start is only look at the first term that is right here and the first term that is right here. You want to figure out, what do I need to multiply this term by in order to get this term? So you're saying x times what will give us the first term? The answer to that would be 4x squared. Now 4x squared has an x squared term, so I'm going to line it up over the x squared term that is inside this division symbol. So now the next thing we need to do is figure out what goes right here underneath. And we get that by multiplying this times this up here. And so we're going to multiply 4x squared times times the x, which is 4x cubed. And then we'll multiply the 4x squared times the 1, which is 4x squared. The next step is putting parentheses around this and subtracting. So now 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0, so that cancels out. Now you have x squared minus 4x squared, which will give you a negative 3x squared. So after we have done this, your next step is to bring down the next term. The next term is a 2x. So we'll bring that straight down. Now we repeat the process over again and figure out x multiplied by what will give us this first term of negative 3x squared. So what we need to multiply by then would be a negative 3x. So now negative 3x multiplied by that x gives us the negative 3x squared. And negative 3x multiplied by the 1 will be minus 3x. We're going to put parentheses around this and subtract these terms. All right, so now negative 3x squared minus negative 3x squared. Remember, the minus and negative changes to plus. So these two things will cancel out. Then we have 2x minus negative 3x. Minus the negative changes to plus, so that gives us a positive 5x. Now we bring down the last term of a positive 5. And we repeat the process once again. X multiplied by what will give us the first term? And that would be a positive 5. So 5 times the x gives us 5x, and then 5 times the 1 gives us plus 5. Parentheses around this and subtract. We have no remainder, which means 4x squared minus 3x plus 5 is the answer to your division. All right, so let's repeat this process once again. We're trying to figure out x multiplied by what will give us 2x to the 4th. And that would be a 2x cubed. Since that term has a x cubed, we put it over the other x cubed in our problem here. Now this is very similar. If you look at what we have here, we lined up all the like variables. The x cubes are all lined up vertically. The x squareds are all lined up vertically. X to the first powers are all lined up vertically. And the constants are all lined up vertically. All right, so that's what we want to try to do. We need to be as neat as possible and organized as we work our way through these problems. All right, so now 2x cubed multiplied by the x will give us 2x to the fourth. And then 2x cubed times negative 3 will give us negative 6x cubed, parentheses, and subtract. That will give us a 4x cubed. Bring down the next term. And repeat the process. X multiplied by what will give you 4x cubed. And that would be 4x squared. Once again, it is lined up above the other x squared. All right, so now 4x squared multiplied by x gives you the 4x cubed. 4x squared multiplied by negative 3 would be minus 12x squared. Parentheses around this because we need to subtract it all. The x cubes will cancel. Negative 13 minus negative 12 will give us a negative 1x squared. And then we bring down our next term, which is a plus 5x. So now x multiplied by what will give us negative x squared? That would be a negative x. So multiplying gives you negative x squared plus 3x, parentheses around this, and subtract. So now 5x minus 3x will give you 2x. Bring down the last term of a minus 7. So now x multiplied by what will give us 2x? And that would be a plus 2. So 2 times x, and then 2 times negative 3. Subtract. It's going to leave us with a negative 1 for a remainder. Now what you do with your remainders is you put them over what you are dividing by, which means our final answer here would be 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus x plus 2, and then we're going to have a minus 1 over what we divided by. Now I used a minus right here because our remainder was a negative number. If the remainder was a positive number, I would have put a plus right here. Okay. All right. And let's move on to this next problem here with 3 terms. So now we're trying to figure out 3x squared multiplied by what will give us 6x to the fourth. Well, that would be a 3x squared. Well, x squared means we're going to put it over the x squared term. So we're going to have 3x squared. Hold on a second. Let me move this a little bit. Having a little bit of issues with this. All right, so now I can put a square on there. All right, so now the 3x squared gets multiplied by all 3 terms. So, I'm sorry, not a 3x squared. That would be a 2x squared. 3x squared times 2x squared gives us 6x to the fourth. 2x squared times 2x is 4x cubed. And then 2x squared times negative 5 would be a minus 10x squared. Put our parentheses around all this, subtract. Your x to the fourth will cancel out. You're going to have a 7x cubed minus a 4x cubed. So that will give us 3x cubed. Negative 20x squared minus negative 10x squared will give us negative 10x squared. Bring down the next term and repeat the process. The next number up here is going to be a plus x, because x times 3x squared will give us 3x cubed. Then we'll have plus 2x squared minus 5x, parentheses, subtract. The x cubes cancel. Negative 10 minus 2 will give us a negative 12x squared. And this will be a minus 8x. Bring down the last term. So now 3x squared times what will give us 12x squared? That would be a negative 4. All right, so we get a negative 12x squared minus 8x plus 20, parenthesis, subtract. Everything will cancel out. So our final answer is 2x squared plus x minus 4. And the last problem here, something I haven't mentioned yet is when you are dividing, you must have all descending powers of your exponent in the problem. So if our largest exponent here is 3, then we need to have an x squared, we need to have an x to the first, and then we have our constant here that's going to go on the end. So let's rewrite this problem as x minus 2 here. X cubed would be a first term. We need placeholders for the x squared term. So we're going to put a 0 x squared and a placeholder for the x to the first term, so plus 0x, and then plus our constant. Now, if the values out here also are missing a place value, we need to include the placeholder here as well. Okay. All right, so doing the division here then, x times x squared will give us the x cubed that we need. And then x squared times negative 2 will be minus 2x squared. Parentheses and subtract. So the x cubes will cancel. 0 minus negative 2 will give us a positive 2x squared. Bring down the next term. So x times 2x up here will give us the 2x squared. And then negative 2 times 2x is minus 4x. Parentheses and subtract. That's going to give us a 4x. Bring down the constant, plus 10. So now x multiplied by 4 will give us the 4x, so we'll put a plus 4 up here. And then 4 multiplied by negative 2 is negative 8. Parenthesis, subtract. You end up with 18 for a remainder, which means we will write our answer as x squared plus 2x plus 4. And then since this is a positive 18, we're going to put plus 18 over, and then what we divided by, which is x minus 2.